Hello, friends. Welcome to The Healing Artist. I'm your host, Frida. Oh my gosh, you guys. I have just returned from being in Los Gatos for the month of July, and I am so grateful to be home. I was down there house sitting, dog and cat sitting for my friends who went away on a sort of family vacation. They were traveling all over Central and East Coast, visiting family members. It's something that you do when you got kids and you got to go pop around and see all the grandparents and all that kind of good stuff. I got to tell you, every single day, nearly, my husband and I look at each other and we're just like so glad that we didn't have children. We'll just be sitting on the couch, eating a bowl of salad, watching something on Netflix together, and we'll just look at each other and we'll just like nod our heads and being like, God, it's great we didn't have kids. It's the best thing in the world. I love it. I love it. Listen, when you have the call to have children, that's your world. But I love being alone without them. I also love not having pets. Like, my responsibility for myself is the only, like, I am my only responsibility. The closest thing I have to any of this is like the business that I'm running. Like, my business is my baby at this moment. My program, Return to Self-Love, is my baby. My students and friends in there are my babies. But like, no. What an incredible choice to be child-free. Yeah. All right, so I am home after spending 25 days in the Los Gatos Hills. I was pet sitting for a cat. The cat's name is Hobbs. And the dog's name is Augie. And Augie is a chocolate retriever, less than 1 year old. And while Augie is under the impression that they are a very, very good boy, Augie, in my personal opinion, is not a good boy. Augie's not a good boy. Augie could really use a firm hand and some good training. I'm not really an animal person. Like, the reason I said yes to do this is because I absolutely love these woods, something I've spoken about previously on the podcast. But I've spent some time at this family's home in the past painting some murals in there, and I absolutely fell in love with their private forest. So it was an easy yes for me to be like, yes, I want to go spend time in that forest. I will happily walk a dog in that forest every day. Well, it turns out that the dog was a little bit more high maintenance and a lot more of a job than I ever thought it would be. So, I thought that I would be doing a lot of channeling, meditating, and working on my illustration job while I was down there. And actually, the reality of the situation it was a great deal of dog management and like trying to wear this dog out who had intense puppy energy, weighs over 90 pounds, and is a chewer. They chew everything. As a person who is incredibly zen, I found the energy to be intensely chaotic. So another fun thing to share is that my friend Christine, who's been traveling and doing this sort of like nomadic existence, she's in her first month of doing so, she spent 2 weeks with me at the house because I was going to be down there for 25 days. And for 2 of them, she came and stayed with me, which I was really grateful for because the house is very removed in the mountains and it's nice to have company. And I was happy she was there because I love her and she's an amazing human. And it was just really nice. So something really cool about Christine is she's actually an animal communicator. So she's like a pet psychic. So it was very helpful because she could tap into Hobbs the cat and like tell me what the cat needed, where does the cat go when they're not there, and all of that kind of good stuff. And just the cat was in seventh heaven. The cat was so happy. His ideal situation was he just had the best 3 weeks of his life. That's all I can say. Because the kids, like, the family has 2 kiddos, and they, like, play with this cat. Like, I've seen a photograph of this cat strapped into a baby carriage, a doll carriage, getting pushed around, like, and the cat does not like it. The cat does not like to be touched by the kids. The cat does not want to be carried around. The cat wants none of it. They are a protector and prowler of the property, and they are regal and a hunter. And they brought me a mouse and a lizard while I was there to the house. This cat was like, I'd be sitting on the toilet and the cat would come and visit me and like brush past my legs. The cat did not want to be touched. The cat only did the touching. So all of those things were amazing things to learn from Christine, because I didn't worry about the cat. I was just happy that they were happy. I kept their food dish clean, their litter box scooped, and their water fresh. And we were in good shape. Like, that is the Frida kind of pet. That kind of pet, I'm like, I am down. And then they'd come in at night and just sleep in the bed with me. And it was lovely. I liked the cat very much. The dog, I do. I love the dog. But the dog, like, in terms of output of energy and, like, was a 10. Like, the height of what you could have to be dealing with was the dog. And naively, I had no idea that's what I was walking into. That's not true. I had a little bit of an idea, but I did not anticipate how intense it would be. So the little bit of the idea I had was one of my first meetings of the dog. I'd gone over my friend's house. I walked in the door. So I've put one foot inside the door and the other foot is still outside the door. The dog has run up to me, jumped up on my chest, punched me in the face with its mouth. It knocked my teeth back, and I had blood. I could taste blood from like my inner lip to my teeth where it had like knocked me in the face. As I'm coming in to the home, I'm putting my second foot on the riser, stepping in. The dog was already on the other side of the room and then zipped across and rammed his body into the couch, jumping up on it. The couch disconnected and separated. Like, that is the kind of chaos, intense, over 90-pound dog we're talking about. So I did have some idea, but I didn't really like realize like how much it was going to be like this. And I didn't realize, like, shame on me, how much of a chewer the dog is. The family did not tell me that the dog chews things. The dog has had some training, but it's all in German. And the only commands that I were told was when the dog first comes into the house, if we'd gone for a walk or something, I go in the house first, and then I turn to the dog, and then I say los, and that's when the dog enters the home. Like, that's what the command that I was left with on paper. Nothing else was written down for me to know what other German words to be using to get this dog to do anything. So, like, no drop it, leave it, stop, no. I mean, like, I'd say nein, like, that's a German word I know, and the dog did not respond to that. So I would put them in the category of badly behaved or ill-trained. So the dog is not a bad dog, but it just is not well trained. It needs to be trained. That's my takeaway. Anyway, I made this book, Things Augie Destroyed on My Watch, a book about a dog and chewing by Auntie Frida. And I made this to cope with what was happening because it was a lot. And making this book helped me cope with the situation. And it also helped me share with the family by reading this to them and sending it to them in a text message. It helped me share with the family what the dog had chewed up and eaten, because I didn't know that the family knew that the dog chewed. They just never told me. So here's the book, and I actually want to read it to you because I think it's funny. And I'm going to have to put an explicit tag on this episode because it does have curse words in it. And if you're able to watch, I will show you the pictures as well. Things Augie Destroyed on My Watch, a book about a dog and chewing by Auntie Frida. It all started with a shoe. I saw this black blob on the floor. What the fuck is that? Then I saw a black strap with a golden buckle halfway down the hallway. Oh shit, I thought. It's one of the girls' shoes. Rounding the corner, there it was, the shoe, or what was left of the shoe. Well, crap, I thought. The dog chews things. Less than 24 hours on my watch, and we had our first victim. Next was the Chuck It ball launcher. After playing ball, I made the mistake of leaving the Chuck It on the kids' art table. Turns out the art table is too low for Augie. Chomp, chomp. It's a picture of the dog's mouth with the Chuck It and foam coming out of his mouth. Next, we have a picture of a big turd with blue plastic in it and little flies flying around. What is that thing? I thought, picking up a gray thing with 2 wheels. It was in the middle of the floor and had not been there earlier that day. Oh, I sighed a few days later. It was a track from the dishwasher. Fuck, Augie. Then came the butterfly. And then the dish towel. And the very cute boot. And then there's the tissues. Augie loves tissues. He'll snatch them right out of your hands. Oh, Augie. That's a picture of Augie with the vista in the background. Now we have a picture of Augie's name tag, which this is truly what it reads. Augie, I'm a good boy. Yes, you are, Augie. Yes, you are. Okay, so that's a little book I made as a coping mechanism. And I made a video of it and I sent it to the family, and they laughed and said that they didn't care about anything, although the dad said that he was concerned about the dishwasher track, which he gets to come home to and discover on his own. It doesn't really roll anymore. I was able to put it back in, but that's a part that he's going to have to reorder for sure to get it to really slide. So that I made in the first 5 days, but I was down there for 25 days. So here's a list off the top of my head of other things that Augie chewed while I was down there. Let's see. We had 2 plastic trash cans that were about 1.5 feet tall by 8 inches wide, those sort of smallish Dollar Tree kind of looking trash cans. So we got 2 of those, and they were very loud when they were coming apart. This bright orange, like, lunch sack style reusable bag type thing. It seemed like it was a very nice quality, although I only saw it like as it was being ripped apart. I didn't really see it firsthand, but it might have been some sort of small backpack or something. Then there was this like wooden flower that I don't know what it was, but it looked like some form of art project or maybe a piece of art. We had multiple dish towels. We had one of these things that was like a thick plastic window scraping ice scraper style thing. That got ripped to shreds. Part of an umbrella stand. The back of the couch in the living room. Let's see. There was a pillow that had feathers in it. That's a story I can't wait to tell you about. Let's see. He ripped a tennis ball, completely like opened the tennis ball. The top part of it came off, like completely and totally wrecked that. Here's a fun story. When my husband arrived to come visit me for a weekend, we celebrated our 18th anniversary together while I was down there house sitting. So he came up from Richmond to spend the weekend with me. And this is like a story of chaos. So I had taken Augie for a walk. I got back from the walk. I was absolutely drenched in sweat because it was hot and the walk is hard. So I get back and I'm just going to jump in the shower. I knew Corey was arriving within 5 minutes or so. So I just hopped in the shower. And then when I was in the shower, I was like, oh, I'm going to shave my legs because I usually don't. And I'm like, it's the 18th anniversary. Let's get these legs shaved. So I got one leg shaved and soap on the other leg. I'd left the window open so that I could hear him when he pulled up. He pulled up. I hopped out of the shower in a towel, ran to the front door in order to unlock it and let him in, and then just go hop back in the shower. Meanwhile, I'm opening the door for him. The dog escapes. I'm in a towel with soap on one leg. The dog bolts towards Corey, hits him in the middle of the chest. He's wearing a business suit that had just gotten laundered, so we were our first out of the dry cleaner business suit. And he usually tries to get a couple of wears in before those take that back, you know. Anyway, dog hits him in the middle of the chest. The leg of the business suit got like slobber. It's just glistening with slobber from the dog's mouth. So Corey gets in. He gets to the back of the house where the dog is not allowed, so the door has been shut. He's able to wipe the back of his pants off. I go back in the shower, quickly shave the other leg, hose myself off, throw in some clothes on, and then I hear Christine, my friend who had come to visit. She's out in the living room. She is hollering because the dog has taken a packet of seaweed, you know, that edible seaweed that has like olive oil and salt on it. He's stolen a packet of seaweed off the counter, and he has eaten the seaweed, but now he's in the process of mashing down on the silica gel packet that is included with the seaweed to keep it fresh. So I know that he shouldn't eat that. Corey has just arrived, and I don't want to go to the vet. Like, that is the last thing that I'm trying to do right now. So, oh my God. Okay, so my friend is also the animal communicator. So I'm like, Christine, tell him if he eats that, we're going to have to drive to the vet. Anyway, it was a run around the house type situation, super whackety sacks. Ultimately, he did not swallow the silica packet, and he did drop it out of his mouth, ultimately by the pool, to get a drink of water out of the pool. And I was able to stick my foot over top of the silica packet, and he couldn't find it because I put my foot on top of it. Like, it was abject insanity. Oh my God, that's the kind of craziness that this dog is. So then, like, the next day, Corey and I go for our anniversary, celebrating 18 years. We went down to the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. We rode roller coasters all day, and we went to the haunted house and all of that kind of fun stuff. And we had dinner at a restaurant that was the last restaurant now on the pier, because you may have seen it in the news, but the end of the Santa Cruz pier, like, fell off into the water and floated away in the earlier part of the year. You may have seen that online. There was like a rescue of people that were floating on the toilets, the top of the restrooms that had disconnected and were bobbing off in the water, and they needed to be rescued via dinghy. It was very exciting. When we were having dinner at the restaurant, I interviewed the waitress, and I was just like, what was it like? What would the other servers, like, how did this all work out? And she said that she wasn't working that night, or that day. However, her coworkers said that it was just like crazy shaking, and then everybody was like mad dash. It's like several blocks. The pier is several blocks long, so they were just mad dash trying to get back to land. But the piece of the pier that had fallen off was apparently a newer section, and where the restaurant was and everything that is still standing is an older part of the pier. It's the original pier. So I just love these sort of like Mother Nature stories that are just like, it all goes back to nature. So my husband and I had a wonderful time. Afterwards, we had Oreo milkshake that had like Oreo cookies in it and whipped cream. It was just like crazy good. So it was just a really, really fun day. So we had gone back to the house. So Augie had been with Christine all day, and Christine was actually leaving the following morning. So she had been packing up her car all day, and Augie knew that something was changing. And he gets really stressed out with change. So when we got back after celebrating all day, he was on a bit of a tear that evening. And that's when he destroyed that orange lunch sack / backpack, whatever that thing was. So he'd like ripped it up and it was all over the floor in 50 pieces. But it was one of those things where I did not clean it up that night because I couldn't get it away from him. Like I'd go to start trying to pick up the pieces off the floor and he just goes in on it and just starts tearing more. So like whatever piece I'm trying to sweep up or pick up, he'll jump to it and he's trying to like catch it out of my hand because he thinks it's a game. So I was like, you know what? We're just leaving this here. Created him for the evening, go to bed. Wake up the next morning around 5 a.m., making myself a cup of coffee. The first thing I do is let him out of his crate because he hears somebody's up, he goes wild. So he's out of his crate, running back across the floor, back and forth, scattering the pieces of the orange bag that are all over the floor. He gets one of these plastic trash cans, and that's when he destroyed the little plastic trash thing, the second one. And he's banging it against the floor. It's 5 a.m. And like Christine's downstairs in the in-law unit. And so I'm like, I know she hears that. I mean, like, thank goodness she's a morning person. Anyway, he's banging this trash can against the floor. It's shattering into 100 pieces. I'm like, oh man, because I don't want him to wake Corey up. Because Corey would like to sleep late. He's not a 5 a.m. person. I had a bit of a hangover. Now, I don't drink, but like I can get energy hangovers, and just from spending the day before riding roller coasters all day and being with thousands of people in lines at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, I was a little tired. I'd also screamed myself hoarse, so I didn't really have a voice. So you know when you're like doing pretty good and everything's like pretty good, there's like some chaos, but you're able to return to that baseline? Because I wasn't as well rested and because I had this like energetic hangover, I'd had it. Like that day I hit my wall with this dog. I was just like, oh my gosh, and I'm drinking my coffee and just literally standing there drinking my coffee, grounding myself, dropping my energetic roots. I'm bringing a beam of light through my head, drinking my coffee, deadpan face, watching this dog destroy this trash can, just beating it against the floor and it's shattering. And I'm like, it was early. Now, the woods walk that we do in Los Gatos, like that walk is not something that I do at dawn or at dusk because there's mountain lions, coyotes, there's real wildlife out there. And this is a private wood. There's no one else out there. When we're out there, I never saw another person. It's a really steep grade down and a really steep grade up. And if you're out there and something happens to you, you better have a whistle or hope that you're in a place where you can get a signal on your phone. Like it's extremely isolated. So I don't take it lightly to not go out there at dawn or dusk because it's not my woods. Like there's critters that live there that I'm not trying to mess with. We're just having our walk, and I'm going to do it when those critters are asleep for the day. So, but he was on such an incredible tear that morning that I was like, okay, I'm just going to put my shoes on and get him out of here. So Christina's woken up at this point. She's doing laundry. It's maybe 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. Still dark out. And, I'm sad she's leaving too. I mean, it's good she's leaving because I'm excited for her next adventure. And simultaneously, it's just like when you're having a good time doing something, the party's over. She's moving on too. Well, Augie knows she's leaving. I know she's leaving. I started to all of a sudden, I know the food that I consumed the day before, which was like boardwalk food and a milkshake. And that's not my normal eating. So then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm taking him out before the light is truly up because he needs to get out of here. I'm just going to go off with prayers. And all of a sudden I was struck with diarrhea. So that's something that I don't usually get. However, here we are. So I know that there's change, there's craziness. That is the energy. It's all of a sudden now my stomach's going to go nuts and my bowels are going to be bad. So I go into the bathroom and I'm having diarrhea. The dog is zooming back and forth outside of the bathroom door. there's wooden floors. And all of a sudden, as I'm having diarrhea on the toilet with my bare feet, I'm just like looking down at my feet, trying to just be like, surrender to the moment and not be in anger and just like be calm. This like tumbleweed of dog hair just like comes shooting in from under the door and like in slow motion just tumbles over and over and then tumbles over both of my bare feet as I'm shitting myself stupid on this toilet. So then, anyway, finish with the diarrhea. It's just, I leave the bathroom. And Christine, I open the door and it is 1,000 feathers. The room is just like, there's feathers flying through the air. They are all over the floor and the dog is nose deep in this down feather pillow. I'm sorry that this is what I said, but at the time I just got out and I had croaky roller coaster voice and I was just like, Christine, why did you let him do that? It's not her fault. I wasn't mad at her, but I swear I was just at my absolute wit's end. I was at my wit's end. She didn't do anything wrong. And like, she's just like, I can't get it away from him. When I try to take it, he rips it more. So I go, Augie, and Augie puts his head up and he looks at me. And because of all of the slobber and everything, his entire front of his face, I can just see his like little piggy eyes, tiny eyes, and then it's just absolutely his whole face is just covered in these white feathers. And I just looking at him and I'm like, come on, let's go. And I am just praying to my angels. I'm like, angels, please do not let me shit myself on this trail while I'm taking this dog for a walk. And please do not let the mountain lions come out while we're out there. Like, I'm just like, what? I'm just like praying that I'm not like walking in the woods all of a sudden needing to have more diarrhea as the sun comes up and like there's mountain lion. It is chaos. It is just absolute, utter chaos. So I put him on a leash. I take him for a walk. Thank God I didn't shit myself on the trail. It all worked out. I got him back. He ultimately ended up calming down. But yeah, that's just like an example of a day in the life of Augie the dog. But to be fair, that was the most intense day. Was the day after our anniversary and the day that Christine left. And I just think it was too much. It's a lot with his family leaving, and then he's left with me, and then Christine comes and she can actually communicate with him, and then she's leaving. It was just a lot. So, all in all, what a blessing to not have pets. What a blessing to not have children. I love my life. I love my life alone. I love my life with my husband in our house where there is nothing but our energy and we just get to do us. And, what a joy to go experience other things and then to get to come home again. And there was actually a major storm sweeping through the mountain region, and I actually came home a day early. Their housekeeper was going to tap into the situation and take over the last few days because I couldn't be there the last few days going into August. So she actually just came a day early and was able to take over the situation because the dad had reached out and been like, hey, you might want to restock the pantry because they're calling for a major mudslide tree down situation coming in at 10 p.m. tonight. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to see if I can tap out before that because I'm not getting stranded here until Saturday. I have stuff to do. I want to go home. I have obligations here at my house. So I actually got to leave a day early, and I honestly cannot tell you, like, it felt like Christmas came early. Like, I had this heart swelling and it felt great to come home. And I'm so happy to be here. Listen, all of this was a great experience. So much happened in July. So much happened while I was there. Amazing discoveries, amazing breakthroughs, all of this good stuff. But I've got to tell you, man, this was like work. It was a job. It was a lot more than I ever thought it would be. Yeah. Oh, I didn't tell you. He ate my hoodie. He ate my Burning Man hat, my Burning Man hat that my campmates gave me in 2022 that said belligerent on it. That one I'm really sad. It's my favorite hat. It's actually my only hat. And he ate my Merrill hiking boots. Oh, Augie. Oh, Augie. What am I going to do with you? Nothing, because I'm gone now and it's back on the family. Let me tell you one more story. So when I was up there, the previous weekend before Corey came down, my friends Lynn and Faller came down to visit, and they came with 2 dogs. That was Augie's favorite day, and I had so much compersion for that dog. I was so happy for him because he had 2 other dog friends to be with, and I was happy for myself because I had 2 friends there, and we made a bunch of wonderful food. We went swimming. We played a board game. I was in 7th heaven. Here's something really funny that happened. There is a juvenile mountain lion that has been sighted all over up there, and it is lighting up the boards. So I got a lot of texts from the mom of the home like, hey, make sure the cat is corralled in the evening and not out, and just, keep an eye out because there is this juvenile mountain lion, multiple spottings. So I had told Lynn and Faller that. Anyway, we were back from our walk in the woods. I'd gone out with Lynn, and we were brushing the dogs because when we get back from the walk, it is a woods walk. Like, you are thigh deep often in, like, walking in ferns and stuff like that. You're walking in stuff, and there's so many burrs out there. You come back and you're covered in hundreds of burrs. So you got to pick them off your pants. You got to brush the dogs. So, and also just make sure there's no ticks and all that kind of good stuff. So we're out there brushing the dogs, and there's 3 dogs, so it takes time. And all of a sudden, Lynn, is crouched down, and she grabs her 2 dogs that she came with by the collars, and just like her eyes were laser focused on the bush, and she's like, oh! And so because of her, what she did, I grabbed Augie's collar, and I'm holding him, and I'm like looking over, and she thought it was the juvenile mountain lion, but actually it was the family cat, Hobbs, like coming sleekily in under the bush, like coming in like, what's going on, guys? And that was my favorite day in so many ways. Hobbs got to scare 3 dogs and 2 adult humans. And, be the ultimate prowler that he was. All the dogs were happy. Augie was so happy. It was just a really great day. It was easily my favorite day up there. Anyway, my friend Christine is super tapped into the multisensory world. We channel together. We practice channeling. And I remember asking her some questions. When I first originally started this podcast, I thought that I wanted to do something that was going to help the people to train their brains. That's where I really thought I was going to do some sort of a meditation podcast, like to help people. I do believe in training our brains to not think so much, not overanalyze everything, and how meditation practice can really bring you into the present moment and sit in witness consciousness. That's where I thought all of this was going, and that's not what's happened. It is evolving as it evolves, and the thing I really like about it is the storytelling aspect and sharing kind of in the way that I just shared. And I asked her, I was like, where do you see this podcast going? What do you think I should be doing with this? And she said, do whatever you want. It's yours. Do it for yourself, and only do it for yourself. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, my friends, that's good. Some stories from the Los Gatos Hills. And I'm excited. This month I have a whole bunch of interviews coming up, so you're going to get to meet some other people that work in the multisensory world. I'm really excited because I get to share my teacher who worked with me 5 years, and to get me to the point where I am now. I'm so excited to share her with you coming up here. She's going to come on and share about a program that she has going on, and I'm so excited for you to meet Rennie. Okay, my loves. This has been fun. And again, so glad to be home. I love you. God, Universe, Source loves you. And I hope you have a wonderful day.